What's up, everyone? This is Forgo, and the first thing I want to do is say thank you to all of you that put a comment on that post that I put up yesterday, letting you all know that I wasn't going to be able to put up any videos. So thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. But today we are going to be using Delans again. This guy really does prove to be just extremely valuable throughout the game. This is why I ranked him triple S tier, because he's amazing in guild raid on expert mode. He's amazing in the PvE game modes, in Halls of Elements, and he's amazing in Immortal Nix, which is what we're going to be doing today. You can see the score that I was able to put up, 445 million. This run actually could have been a 500 million run, but unfortunately, because you have to play on auto, so your characters are using their active skills throughout the ultimate skills, I wasn't able to do K's 5 PG as often as I want to. I've talked about this before. I really think it's a bunch of crap that Netmarble nerfed this crap. They really need to change this the way it was. They need to make it to where we were able to spam our skills while other characters are using their PGs. This is freaking annoying as hell, and it makes this twice as hard. I pretty much think that they did this intentionally after the 7 Nights update to try to make these 7 Nights characters shine a little bit more. And I hate to say that, but that is kind of what I think. I've seen kind of Netmarble's trend. I love the game, but I don't like what they did with this. This is stupid. Another thing is, you'll never notice whenever you're facing Immortal Nix, and I think this is going to go for all the bosses, now we have to be in front of the boss. We have to be in front of them so we can do direct hits. That way we're building up our PG, because you'll notice a lot of times when you're facing this guy, you're not building up your PG, and you're probably wondering, like, you'll be spamming your skills and you'll be like, what the hell? Why am I not building up my PG? And that's because you need to be almost directly in front of him. Not on the bottom, not on top, but directly next to him. It's freaking annoying as hell. So, and your character will automatically, if you just leave it on auto and you're not using your directional pad, the character will automatically just kind of move down or move up, depending on where he or she's at on the screen. And you just have to manually put your character where they belong. It's freaking annoying as hell. But this is the teams that I use. Now, if you look at the strategy info, you can see stacks receive damage increase when attacking the boss in darkness. And this is permanent, and it stacks to team 1. Only stacks to team 1, so having darkness only on team 1 is what you need. It stacks up to 50. So the more darkness you have, the better. And it only stacks up to 50. And this is going to carry over to the second team. Then you have decreased the boss's defenses and increases their attack each time the dot explosion effect is applied. Permanent applies to all teams, so whatever dot explosion we do on the first team, all that decreasing the boss defenses, increasing our attack is going to jump over to the next team by doing dot explosions. And this is permanent and applies to all teams, and it stacks up to 20. So what they're saying here is, if you do any more than 20 dot explosions, you're not going to carry over any more, decrease all defenses, or increase your attacks. And then it says stacks a significant amount of attack increase based on fire's awaken level. And then, of course, awaken level definitely matters, of course. So you can see here, I got 3 level 50 characters here on the bottom. And then I just got a level 20, a level 40, and a level 50 character here. These 2 characters here offer dot explosion. Now, I know a lot of you probably don't have Charlotte, and I know a lot of you probably don't have the Raw. Easy fix. All you gotta do is take out Charlotte, put in Orochi Chris. Orochi Chris does burn explosion. You can level him up, put him up here. He will get bumped up by Shion's leadership. That's going to give this PG rate by 20%. Very important in these bosses, except for Immortal Victor. And you can switch out the Rock for Mr. Karate. So all you gotta do is switch these 2 characters and you'll be fine. Mr. Karate does amazing. I've already seen a guy hit 500 million using Mr. Karate here, and not even using Charlotte. I actually used Orochi Yori and Swimsuit Mary here, because Swimsuit Mary does chill explosion, and then Dylan. And that was Benelgom TV. So if you want to check out that channel, go for it. But this is the team that I ran with. This is the team that I did the most damage. I tried other teams. This is the one that seemed like it did the most. And I believe it's because I was able to do my dot explosion the maximum amount of 20 times. And that carried over to the second team. And I was just able to do that much more damage. As far as their builds, Xion, I'm using a Ryugo set on him because he just dies so easy. He's only level 20. I can't awaken him any further. The nice thing is he does have a PG card, but he has no imprint stones whatsoever. Nothing. He does have some capsules, not even maxed out HP, which would have really helped. But the bad thing about Xion, at least at this level, is he can die pretty easy. And that's kind of the bad thing about him. Also, whoops, I didn't even click on that. Also, in his core effects, he has no PG rate. So what I'll probably end up doing later on is I'll probably end up putting a PG stone on him because he's going to be useful in another Immortal boss as well. And I'll probably end up slapping a gold imprint stones on these other 2 slots once I level him up, because I'm going to have to level him anyways, because he's a yellow attack and you're going to use him in Reviving Hell's Dungeon past tier 40. I just don't have any memory, so I can't awaken him. And then Charlotte here, she does Bleed Explosion. She has no imprint stones, and this is the beautiful thing. And, you know, I am running a Noah set on her. This card, it really doesn't matter. Just really the skill level 30 is all, or not skill level, but the level 30 is all that matters. I could level this card up, but I already pre-recorded the run, and this is the build I had. So I just want to show you guys the accurate builds for the run that I'm going to show you. The skill level doesn't matter because she's never going to use this 5 PG. She'll never get to it. And as far as Charlotte here, she does have 20% PG rate, which is good. So she's going to get 40% PG rate in total from having Xion in the leadership. Now, Dylan, he doesn't benefit at all from the PG rate because he's a blue type. But my Dylan is completely maxed out, you know, max capsules. He has max imprint stones. And I did put a PG stone. I found that I definitely was getting more damage because I was just able to use my 3 PG more often. However, in a run I've seen on Banogom's channel, he used all 3 imprint stones here. So maybe you don't have to use a PG stone. But for me, I just seemed like I needed to. But again, I think maybe it's just because I wasn't directing Dylan well enough against the boss. Because like I said, if you're not next to him, if you're like below him or above him, you're not going to build up your PG because you're not landing direct hits. It's really wacky. It really sucks. It makes this way more difficult on top of us not being able to spam our skills during our ultimate skills. I am running a Leah set on him. I do have his 3PG maxed out. This is very important because you will do this skill sometimes. And then I do have one of these cards just at level 20. And then we have K here. K, we got the K is set on him. We got a maxed out 5PG card. This is the bad thing about K. Like, K is such an amazing character. He has this great leadership with the 20% PG rate. I mean, it's just amazing for red characters. However, his 5PG is just such a nightmare to do on auto. You know, he automatically wants to do his default. It sucks. And if you play on semi-auto, then the characters won't use their active skills during your ultimate skills. I've tried it over and over playing on semi-auto, and I just can't do even close to the damage. I lose so much damage when I play on semi-auto that it's not even funny. But I guess it is what it is, right? So I also used his option card here, which gives him an extra 5% attack, decreased cooldown, and increased burn damage, which is very important, or amazing just for another character just to increase that attack. And we have Rachel, who proves to be freaking extremely valuable. I mean, 7 Knights are they're just nutso characters, you know, because of the 3 PGs and just their power level and the imprint stones that we can put on them. But she's running a Leah set. I do have her card maxed out here as far as her imprint stones. I do have 2 of these stones, and a PG stone is the best for her. I find you'll just do more damage with the PG stone instead of having another stone. But, I mean, maybe you could put just a regular imprint stone here, one of these, like one of her 7 Knights imprint stones, and still do well. But for me, this is what worked the best. And then the Rock. And again, you can switch out the Rock for Mr. Karate, who already has 30% PG rate in his core, has a nice 3 PG. He'll work just fine for this. But for the Rock, I got 2 of these imprint stones, and you definitely want a PG stone on this guy, because if you're using him, because he has no PG rate in his core, and 20% PG rate from K's leadership just isn't enough. He won't do the ultimate often enough, and you want to do that thing as much as possible to delay the timer. And then we have a Akane set on him. We got a maxed out 3 PG. The most important thing is just make sure that, you know, I don't even know if you need PG rate. Like I said, I seen an account use Orochi Iori here, Swimsuit Mary, and Dylan. No PG rate, no PG stones, and was able, because of the second team, used the same team as this, except used Mr. Karate instead of The Rock, and was able to hit that 500 million. So there are other teams, and there's actually more teams than that. There's quite a few characters that do explosion. Just a little tidbit though, because you want blackened applied and you want that blackened to stack, you don't want to use Halloween Chris. Let me show you why. Whoops. This thing's so touchy sometimes. Let me show you why. So Halloween Chris, the reason you don't want to use this guy is he does have blacken, right? And that's great. He has blacken. But the problem with him is, and he does explosion, right? So you think he'd be awesome. But the problem is, because of his explosion, he has the explosion where he actually removes darkness upon landing a critical hit. And that's on a 10-second cooldown. So he's going to be removing the blacken throughout it. So your blacken won't be able to stack as long as you're removing it. Chris really, honestly, isn't very good for this at all because he's removing that blacken. I actually tried with Chris. Mine's at 3-star. I tried using him with Lady Yashiro, even Heihachi, who both have dot explosion. And with my level 20 Xion and my level 40 Charlotte with no imprint stones, I was able to do better. I was able to do a lot more damage because Chris just kept removing the blacken from Dellen. Dellen applies blacken, but then Chris will do his explosion and then he'll remove it. So you won't be doing near as much damage. All this blacken that you're trying to stack is going to keep getting removed, so it's not going to carry over to the second team, therefore disabling you from doing as much damage. So you really want to stay away from that. It's just not going to be as good. I mean, if that's your only option, then go for it. But I can tell you that you'll be better off with a different exploding character other than Chris. So let's jump into the action and let's rock and roll. All right, so let's do this. Now, I really wish my Xion was built a little bit better, but it is what it is. And notice, I mean, you want to try to get Dellen, your character that you're playing, in next to the boss. You don't want him to the side because you'll notice he won't build as much PG. And I even have a PG stone on him. I mean, you got to get right next to him. And it's just a pain in the frickin' rear. Here we go. Smack, smack, smack. There we go. And I tried using my default to apply more blacken. Just like there, we applied some blacken, which is what we want. Come on, come on. I mean, the more blacken you apply, the better. The more dot explosion you apply on this first team, the better. And if I had a PG stone on Xion and a PG stone on Charlotte, this would be even better. Because they would have done their ultimates more often. I mean, the first team's not so bad to play on auto, because these characters are just using 3 PGs. You see Xion already died, which sucks, right? But it is what it is. I mean, he just couldn't hang. But notice I keep using my default. And I'm pretty sure that makes a difference because I tried doing runs where I was just using his regular 3 PG more often. And it just seemed like I would do more damage on the second team when I would use the default. And I'm waiting. We're going to use the default again. Apply blacken. Because remember, the 3 PG doesn't apply blacken. His default does. Alright, so only 78 million in that first run. Now watch this. We're going to start melting this. And as this goes, as all that damage is stacking, we're going to be doing more and more damage throughout this fight. And you have to keep K, if you're using him, or any character, next to the boss. You know, if you're up on top, like look, there we're building some PG. If you're up on top, or you're on the bottom, you're not going to be doing as much PG because you're not landing direct hits on the boss. It used to be not that way. It wasn't that way before. You could be on the bottom or the top and you just run through your skills and you would be hitting direct hits and it wasn't a big deal. But you see, and look, I'm using my freaking default, which sucks. You know, the computer just went ahead and did it on its own. If I would have done my 5 PG, that would have been so nice. I would have had that nice long ultimate skill while all my other characters are doing tons and tons of damage. And seriously guys, with this team, if one of these characters does like their long ultimate skill like K, that's about 40 million damage during that time span. That's how much of a difference it makes being able to do those. It's just so annoying. You know, I tried tapping my skill there. He does default again. Bastard. And I tried tapping my screen, I tried tapping my basic attack so he wouldn't do his 5 PG, but boy, he just, sometimes I get it to where it works and sometimes it doesn't. It seemed like in the last Immortal boss it worked really well, but now it just seems like it isn't. Now we finally can do our 5 PG. The other thing that's really annoying is a lot of times K, he'll just stand there. Like he'll do it the 5 PG, you get it, and then he just stands there. And then it just gets canceled. Freaking annoying as hell. Now look, we got 6 seconds left. And I want you guys to take a look at this score. We got 6 seconds left. So 383, 387, 390 million, right? 3 seconds left. 390 million and 3 seconds left. Now watch this. And you all saw the score that I got. This is how much of a difference it makes when these characters do these long ultimates and why those PG stones are so important. All right, here we go. And that was 413 million. So that was about 20 million. But also because you're doing them long ultimates, your other characters can build up their ultimates. And boom. Look at that. 445 million. This was the best run that I had so far. I'm still going to be experimenting with some other teams and trying some other things. But, you know, I tried using Iori with my level 40 Iori with a level 40 swimsuit Mary and Dellen, and I still was able to do more damage to this team, and I really think it's because I just was able to do more dot explosion. I think that's really what it was. So let me know how you're all doing with Immortal Nix. Let me know what characters you've gotten, what cards you've gotten, and hopefully this will help some of you out there, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.